I'm still a bachelor. Well, I'm married, so I'm not a bachelor, but I still live that bachelor life to a certain extent. I was running late because I had to grab something to eat. I thought I was going live at 5:30. So I come down, I'm like, whoa, the settings say 5:15. So let me throw that YouTube funky on there. That YouTube funky intro is dope, low key. I at Bryson Gray, I was like, bruh, can you spit some bars on this? I was not joking. So B, if you saw that tweet, I was being very serious, bruh. I want to see you do some bars on that. I don't know which part of it. Good evening, GB Toy Mafia. What's up? Thanks for stopping by. Just got a couple. Before I get into the dark, we're going to the dark side here. And I don't want to take it to the dark side, but I think we have to do what's necessary. But before we do that, I do want to. I was thinking about this Lauren Southern tweet as I had my dinner. My wife is out, so she went out, and I wasn't feeling leftovers. And for some reason, I'm thinking about this Lauren Southern tweet from October 24th. That's how strange my life is. Lauren Southern tweeted, "Gonna start the female version of Dylan Mulvaney. Day 75 of being a man. Haha. Haven't gone to therapy once. Literally just been I'm gonna stop that pause. Women and eating protein powder." Lauren Southern is just, man, these creatives are just unbelievable. Let me show you the tweet. It's one of my favorite Lauren Southern tweets, and she's had some good ones. And I've only been following her for a couple of years. So she's talking about Dylan Mulvaney. Twitter is so much fun right now, y'all. I'll have it. Lex Friedman tweeted that Twitter is better than Netflix. Bruh, it's way better than Netflix. I agree. So the comments are equally as funny. Let me tell you why I was thinking about it. The dinner that I had before I jumped on this live, don't get me wrong, it was fire. It turned out fire. So my wife's gone. She's not cooking. I'm not a good cook. I have no problem cooking, so I do the dishes because you got to go with where your strength is. If she's a good cook, I could be her sous chef. Like the other day, I was like, I'll chop whatever up or do whatever you want me to do. But she cooks. I wasn't in the mood for leftovers. Got the kids some fish sticks and nuggets. I know, not the healthiest, frozen from Costco. So what I did is I put a little bit extra fish sticks in there. Hopefully the mic's okay. Put a little bit of extra fish sticks in there. Got some bread, some cheese. Put it on there. Had little open face fish stick sandwiches with mayo, ketchup, cheddar cheese, and a little bit of lemon to kind of act as the tartar sauce. So that's just kind of like, it's kind of like a bachelor type thing, I think. That reminds me of bachelor life. I put together anything. Anything could be a meal during bachelor life. So that made me think of this thread where she's going down, and the comments are just absolutely hilarious when you go through the comments here. Someone said, Melanie Mack said, "Just microwave some boxed macaroni and cheese for lunch. Then stood outside helicopter gazing. Might fight a bear later if I have time. My first day of being a man is going well so far." So, we're playing off of the Dylan Mulvaney stereotypes of a woman. It's the exact same thing on the other spectrum. She's in the, Dylan Mulvaney's in the woods with high heels on. It's the same thing. This B. Scott said, "You ain't doing man right. Man, you're not doing men right." Boxed macaroni. That's too much work. Got to go with these. Saves on the dishes, too. I don't know if he got it that he's probably joking off of it, too. It only counts if you've self-adjusted at least a dozen times in public. Sometimes you just got to self-adjust and play it off to be right. I mean, what are you going to do? By the way, we men do not eat butter sticks, just letting you know, Mel. Yeah, I draw the line at butter sticks. They're laughing. Yeah, that's because that's what men do. Microwaving boxed macaroni, that's what men do. So this guy, Will C, props to you, cook. He said, "I cook more than my wife does." There's plenty of guys out there that cook more than their wives. I'm just not one of them. Somebody said as long as there's no beard. She should do a TikTok. Is Lauren Southern on TikTok? She probably wouldn't be able to last on there. It's crazy how people are afraid of ideals. Flannel and a fake beard seem like a requirement here. I'm in Colorado. Every dude out here has a beard in Colorado. I am going to shave, so I'm not going to be this rough for that much longer, like right after this live. Don't forget to turn your underwear inside out after 3 days. And remember, brown in the front and yellow in the back. Bruh. Or I don't... Bruh. Bruh. That was uncalled for. I'll give that a like. After your first day of being a man, you realize it's all your fault, and then national, state, provincial, and local governments want to use your original sin to bilk more money, labor out of you. And he took it kind of deep. He said, what's helicopter gazing? I don't know, but it was funny as hell. I can't lie. I'll look up if there was a military helicopter that was overhead. I'll go helicopter gazing if there's something there. That's pretty funny, though. The male act of synchronized stopping what you're doing to stare at the helicopter go overhead is the explanation. Make sure it's a black bear first and then work your way up. Most dudes see Legend of the Fall and they take on too much too soon. This thread is, I went through that whole thread when she first dropped it. It was hilarious. Lauren Southern. How about this Jimmy Dore clip? Before I get into the other stuff. Jimmy Dore, a lot of people ask, is the mic good? Glad I caught your show. Metalopoly, haven't talked in a minute. We're going to be talking about some dark stuff. Sorry, Metalopoly. So right now it's a light topic. The main topic is some disturbing stuff from the fashion company Balenciaga. They dropped some stuff with children inappropriately. And that will be the main topic. Very shocking stuff. When I saw it, it made me think of the intros that Sydney Watson does to her show. And I actually clipped some of her stuff because I just felt like
I have grown past the point of being able to be shocked.
So it's that type of stuff. If you watch Sydney Watson, she does a great job breaking down some inappropriate things. This one's Jimmy Dore. I'm gonna go to Jimmy Dore here in a sec first, and then let me first find it. If you don't save it right, then you gotta go. I didn't save it right. But thanks for stopping through. It's gonna be about the ad campaign that is inappropriate by this fashion company, the same one that wants nothing to do with Ye, but on the other side, they're doing all kinds of craziness. We'll get into that in just a second. But a lot of people are asking about the MAGA communism. What is it? All it is basically is the people who like Jimmy Dore getting along with the people who like Steve Bannon. That's all it is. And Jimmy Dore had this. Somebody did a mashup of Jimmy Dore versus Bill Maher. And let me share my screen now. This is it. Here it is right here. I didn't realize I was still sharing it. If words were violence, Jimmy Dore versus Bill Maher.
Honest to God is really the most important election ever. So, okay, yes, you should vote. And it should be for the one party that still stands for democracy preservation.
At first, I thought he was joking. He's not joking. The democracy in the United States was stolen a long time ago, Bill. Which is why 80% of workers live paycheck to paycheck. Half the country can't afford a $400 emergency. And workers haven't had a raise since 1980. We still don't have health care. We still don't have a living wage. And we have people living under every bridge. We don't live in a democracy, which is why we can send $100 billion to the most corrupt country in Europe, while we still don't take care of our own people and they go bankrupt when they get sick. This idea that somehow one party cares about democracy while the others doesn't. You know, they both serve the same corporatocracy, an oligarchy run by corporations. And instead of having a dictator, the dictator has now been replaced with the nameless, faceless corporate state, which controls every part of our being. They control our free speech, what medical treatments we get to experience. The only difference between a Democrat and a Republican is the speed at which their knee hits the ground when a donor enters the room. We don't live in a goddamn democracy, you fucking moron, and you know it. But you don't want to admit it. You want to pretend because it makes you feel comfortable. What about January 6th was supposed to change our mind? A bunch of yahoos in pajama bottoms and buffalo helmets without guns taking a shit in Nancy Pelosi's office? That's what you thought was going to take over our country? That's why they didn't have security there on purpose?
Well,
So this very thing could happen, and so idiots like you can repeat it? You should be screaming about Citizens United and how corporate captured our government is, because the Democrats have complete control of the party right now, of government, yet they're not talking about getting rid of corporate money in government, which is the thing that actually takes us from a democracy to an oligarchy.
You got knocked the fuck out, man!
if you know Jimmy Dore, I should have warned language, but that's Jimmy, and nobody can do it like Jimmy. Will I agree on the method to handle all of those things? Of course not. But you can see that's not an enemy. That's not a political enemy right there. That's all MAGA communism is. Let's go to the headliner. This is a shocking, disappointing story. But it's hard not to cover this, to show where we are. We have to chronicle this, where we're going and where we are. I wanted to black out the faces on the ads. I didn't have time to do so. Beyond disturbing, Balenciaga ad campaign features children with, bondage teddy bears. This isn't satire. This isn't some bad joke. This is something that really happened. Popped off this weekend. People found out about it. Balenciaga is Paris, right? Is it a Spanish designer in Paris? I'm not a fashion guy, so whatever. They literally have, if you're watching the video, it's a teddy bear purse that a little girl is holding in BD pause SM gear. That's right there. This is a campaign ad for them to sell something. Well, I think it's actually more than that. Let's read into this story a little bit more. I think it's more than just to sell something. They use these companies to kind of take the country in the direction that they feel like it needs to go. Luxury fashion house Balenciaga is raising child safeguarding concerns after launching a new ad campaign featuring children and paws bandage-themed toys that many are calling disturbing. On November 19th, it seems like the articles I've seen of this are all pointing to this user who was the first one that went to, however they found out, and they tweeted it. Dat Cat Dare posted 2 screenshots from the Balenciaga official website showing off images being used to promote the site's holiday gift shop. Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a Merry MAGA Christmas. And for Christmas, we're looking at depravity in front of our eyes, and it is important to note this. It is important to watch this because I think this is a hidden, I'm going to show you why. I think this is a hidden, this is an inside, when you tell like an inside joke, this is not a joke. They're doing an inside diss, inside commentary, inside message being sent to you and I. Anybody who's willing to look at alternative forms of media might pick up this story. And I think they absolutely knew that. And the message for you is, we can do whatever the hell we want to do. That's the message. And you will not stop us. Populism will not win. I don't agree with this message, but that's the message that they are sending. In my opinion, that's the message they're trying to send. And on top of that, they're going to say, this won't go anywhere. You'll go outside, your neighbors won't know about this. Nobody's going to talk about this. You're going to seem like a lunatic, but me and you both know what's really happening. That's what I think is going on here. Remember, this is the company that dropped Ye, and GB said Ye should be happy. They dropped him, and that's a good comment. I think he probably is. You remember, Ye expressed concern about Kim. It was more with the Skims, I believe, but it would apply here too. Ye expressed concerns about still messing with them. So they dropped Ye. Ye's the one that got his bank account yanked, and when you look at them, to my knowledge, nothing's happened here. It's just a couple people who follow alt media, whether it's Twitter or wherever else, see this. The images, if you're just listening, feature very young. We're talking about like young, like 3-year-olds to 15, it looks like. Young child models, it looks like, I don't know if they're models or not, holding teddy bears. These teddy bears are actually purses. What are they advertising, and who are they advertising to? The teddy bears are purses. Why are the teddy bears dressed in bondage? Why are the children not smiling? How does this make any sense? You say that, well, you might do a campaign to make noise. You might do a campaign to just rile people up or to cause a controversy. Would you use children to do that? If that's what they're doing, my take doesn't change. Everything is still the same. But what looked like an innocent enough photo shoot, it does not look like an innocent photo shoot. When I first saw it, it looked bizarre. Who does a child? When I first saw it, like the kid's not even smiling. I didn't notice that the teddy bear was in bondage. People online were talking about it. Then I was like, yeah, you're right. One of them had a lock around its neck. It was clearly bondage, clearly dark, with children. Remember this article from a while back? We might have to go back and look at that and look at this in, I would say, a whole different light. Did this on the channel probably over a year ago at this point. Remember this article from Washington Post? It is still up there, published more than a year ago. The warning, this is live on their website. Yes, pause, kink belongs at Pride. And I want my kids to see it. Remember that? Children need to know that they can make their own ways in the world. You read this isn't one of those where the headline's wild and then the article's tame. The article was wilder than the headlines. Covered that a while back. Now this is Balenciaga, not in the States, but we're at that one earth government type thing. This is where they all want to go for some reason. Slarty Bartfest said, Balenciaga using photos of little girls playing with their teddy bears dressed in bondage gear on their website. Lovely. It's you can't, this kind of stuff, you can't even, there's not much you can say. That's why I did the thumbnails with just the teddy bears. It's disturbing to say the least. This is not it. That's not it. There's more. Well, there's more to the story, let's just say. I don't know.
I don't even know what's happening.
Don't know what's happening. Continuing on. In one photo taken from the main page, they have now they've changed their website. So if you go to the main page, I couldn't find it on the main page. I think you have to search for this. This is a part of their 2023 collection. It was on the main page. Now on the main page, they do have a little something. They have a, I don't know if they're selling kids stuff, but it's not the same bondage teddy bear stuff. They just have this here. I don't know why they even have kids on here. Oh, there's the teddy bear right there. It's off in the side. What is, man, I don't know. So they did change the website. I guess they tried to step away from it a little bit. They have the teddy bear wearing leather gear. Here's another disturbing one. They are, well, just to say what these bears are, they're hand held accessories. So I guess that's not, I know them as purses, but I'm not a fashion guy. I guess they're now handheld accessories, and purses, I know, maybe not it. So here's how disturbing the teddy bear is with the chain and the, I don't know if they're trying to be edgy, but it's obviously, we obviously aren't going to stop at drag queen story hours. We're obviously not going to stop at it won't lick itself drag friendly shows. We're not stopping there. There's no end to this. Both of the screenshots posted were a part of a larger series of photos which first began cropping up on Balenciaga's official Instagram on November 16. Their Instagram is now, to my knowledge, let me double check. I think this article talks about it. To me, I think they took the Instagram down. I think they took their whole Instagram down, if I'm not mistaken. They left Twitter. Now, that's an interesting one that's going to get us to another side story. So they did leave Twitter. And I mentioned this just briefly in another video, but Elon Musk is trying to clean up Twitter. And what he's trying to clean up is the child prawn. Elon Musk is addressing issue of child stuff, content on Twitter after years of inactivity under platform's past management. It's making me reevaluate my whole take on Ketanji Brown Jackson. I haven't changed my take. If you don't remember, she was in her hearing and people had concerns about her letting off these PDs. And I was like, well, her explanation made sense to me. She doesn't look like your typical PD lover or sympathizer. I don't know anymore. What happened to J.E. Island and the information? I think a little bit of information came out. I haven't read that yet, but we don't have a list of anybody. Nobody's going anywhere other than G. So G takes the fall for everyone. Jizz takes the fall for everyone. No pun intended. Elon Musk has begun addressing the issue of posting, this is a side note topic, child issues, bad stuff on Twitter after years of inactivity. It is, the timing of it is peculiar because it happened days after the head of, I believe the title is Public Safety and Integrity, resigned from Twitter. Within a couple days, the people who monitor this stuff started tweeting like, it looks like something's being done here. Within 48 hours of the prior person leaving the company. The problem of publishing this stuff, and this is illegal stuff, as far as legal prawn, that's all over Twitter, and I'm fine with it. Just give me the tools so I don't see it, unless I want to see it. I don't. So give me the tools to block it, and they have it, and I don't have a problem with it. I typically do not see it unless other things are happening. Eliza Blue, a survivor of human. This is what I saw there. So they're basing their article based on exactly what I saw here. A survivor of human trafficking. She's a captivating person. First found out about her. Wait for it. Got to give the man credit on Timcast. It seems like every show, everybody I'm mentioning has been through the Timcast gauntlet, which is great. That's how I found out about her. Has taken this fight to the next level. And in an interview with Tasmanian, that's the Tesla site, she said that for the past 2 years, she's been trying to get Twitter to she's been tweeting about it and has campaigns and everything. She's been doing that, gets no light, gets no shine. You could get a transformer, and this has happened, who went after Nick Rekieta and got CNN coverage, got Washington Post coverage. Man, this isn't a political issue. I hope. It might be a corporate versus populist issue, because it seems like the corporate dudes don't have a problem with this. Adidas still rocks with Balenciaga. They didn't drop Balenciaga. They dropped Ye. What did Ye do that was as bad as this? Thanks to the efforts of Liza and those who supported her in February of 2022, Twitter added a feature to easily report this bad stuff, which was a huge victory in a years-long struggle. However, a few months later, Twitter took the easy reporting systems for this issue away. This was deeply disturbing news. I don't know why, as it is difficult to find reasonable reason why the ability for platform users to easily report about this bad stuff has been removed. So with all these problems, Twitter wasn't looking good. Elon took over. Elon was the new head honcho. Eliza tweets, oh, I still have the R on there. Eliza tweets, correction, the 3 biggest hashtags used by these bad people selling bad things on Twitter have been virtually eliminated. This is huge. Just on Friday, this was, or Saturday, this was tweeted. Or was it, yeah, Saturday. To those who aren't aware yet, last week, Twitter did add a direct reporting option only on tweets with contact image videos. This was not previously available. I didn't even know about this. It was a separate form. So grateful to see those changes. But then they took it away. Why does it seem like there's so much into this? This is the Washington Post. It's Jeff Bezos in the Jeff Bezos paper, still to this day right now. Let me pause and take a look at the chat and make sure I'm not. It's always good to pause to make sure I'm not, the mic's not bad and all that kind of stuff. So Albert Speer says, there is no political solution for this. This is culture terror. I agree. There is no political solution here. And I think ultimately it is you've got to go towards federalism, give your states power. You've got to, nobody wants to hear this, including myself, because it's hard to move, especially when you don't have money. It's hard to move, and you have to go to a state area with like-minded people and make that state a strong state. And that's why Mr. DeSantis could just stay in Florida. That'd be a good thing. Pedo acceptance, when woke goes wrong. Metalopoly says the Christians are called fascist. The queers are called sacred. Well, unto those who call evil good and good evil. See, and I don't look at that. This is evil here. This stuff, this Balenciaga stuff. But if you just use the term queer, I wouldn't say that's evil. But I'm not saying that's what you're saying. Just want to make sure it's clear where I'm at. This was a part of this. The person that took the photos. This is from a different project from the photographer called, something with children and toys, which I don't know, man. It's just weird. That's not the Balenciaga stuff, but it's just weird. I don't, what is it for? Who's that for? I don't know. Some of the comments on Balenciaga's Instagram feed were critical with users. I hope so. Like Spears said, this is a cultural thing. We got to handle this. It's not going to be a politician. With users questioning the appropriateness of the photos featuring the bondage teddy bears. That's not a phrase I thought I would ever say. One user called the images soul-crushing on so many levels, while another user commented, now you've crossed the line for me. Now you have? The line's been crossed. We need to establish, what is the line? That would be a good start. The fashion house has since limited the ability for users to leave comments. I'm not on Instagram, so I wouldn't even know. I didn't even know you could do that. Not surprising, but I didn't know you could do that on Instagram. Well, I should check that. I am on Instagram. I just don't use the platform much. You will see it stuck in the middle on Instagram. On Twitter, where Balenciaga has recently deleted his account. So that brings us to another story. Watch out. We're taking a left here, but it's very similar, and I'm going to tie it right back. Breaking news, somewhat breaking news. Apple has deleted everything. Via Jeremy of the Quartering, that's where I saw it first. Apple deleted their whole Twitter account. Look out, everybody. This is what we were expecting. Well, Apple has just scrubbed their entire Twitter account as the head of their app store also leaves Twitter. Jeremy says good. I say good too. Nobody cares about Apple in their Twitter account. But that's a pretty big move. Apple has the App Store. Remember the choke point, the issue that we were going to see if Elon Musk didn't do what these civil rights groups wanted them to do, who are funded by people like that F to the TX and other corrupt organizations, that they will shut down Twitter from the App Store. That is not, I'm not making an announcement, that is not the news, but wouldn't that be the logical next step? To shut Twitter down from the App Store. That might be the logical next step for Apple. The only reason they haven't done it yet is because Elon Musk has that moolah. So he's got the moolah, he's got tens of court cases out there, maybe even more. I didn't want to say 100. I don't know about 100, but he's got at least 10 court cases out there. Remember the tweet where Elon Musk is like, I need to put together an army. I need a badass group of lawyers because we're about to go fight some battles legally. So Apple and Google might be hesitant to take Twitter on because Twitter will fight back in the court system. But that's the next step. How are you going to leave from Twitter and not delete them from the App Store like you did Parler? Some good news coming out of Twitter. A lot of good news. Sav says back on Twitter. And she came back with a flurry and event, not vengeance, but she came back making noise. Sav says is back. James Lindsay's back. James, you've got a lot of catching up to do, and I see that he's doing it. He's probably going to reply to every little piece of hate that went on while he was gone. Just let that go. Let's start new. I said, I missed you, bro. He went savage on somebody. I'm not going to get too off on a tangent on that. But Sav says, I'm just going to try to see if I have the Sav says. I have all kinds of tangents. Here's Sav's. 2 years ago, Twitter decided to ban me without reason after President Trump retweeted this clip. This clip got 9 million views. We're going to watch it here in a second. Can you believe this? She retweeted this. Well, President Trump retweeted her clip. And the thing about Savs is she has connections indirectly with Alex Jones. That's her. I mean, they work together and she's been on the show many times. So I don't know how he's saying one can come on, one can't, whatever. 2 years my reporting has been banned from this platform. Thank you, Elon Musk, for spending $44 billion so independent journalists like myself can no longer be silenced. I am so grateful. She came back very classy. Savannah Hernandez is a living legend journalist, and this is it. What was so dangerous that got her yeeted from Twitter? Americans singing the national anthem. I guess those are the hateful MAGA group that everyone's been telling me about. Back to Balenciaga. They left Twitter, and just like Apple left Twitter, CBS News left Twitter, came back. A lot of lefties left Twitter. A lot of them came back. It's with them promoting this type of child depravity, this abuse of children, then I don't think they have a friendly home in Twitter anymore. That article, how long is Washington Post going to be on Twitter? Are they going to keep tweeting stuff like, I want my child to see kink at the Pride Parade? Because it's going to be ratioed harder than ever before now that Twitter is less biased. It got ratioed before when Twitter was biased. That's probably why they have to leave. They deleted their account in apparent protest. I was not able to confirm that. I don't think that's what it was, obviously. Users expressed outrage and concern over the campaign, this children ad campaign. Many pointing out the disturbing implications of the photo shoot. Wait for this piece here. I actually got this from Shoeonhead. I had to go to incognito browser to see it, but the looks on these girls' faces are also deliberate choice of the picture editor too. Very unsettling. How many adults had to be involved with this decision? From who decided to start the campaign, who okayed it after they saw how disturbing it was, who set it up, who put the bondage on the teddy bears? Why did you use children? I mean, you could have just why do children have anything to do with teddy bear purses? They're obviously not children. Well, I don't know what they think they are. I need them to tell me. And Ye and Kyrie are supposed to be the problem. Entertainment advances what politicians want, what they're looking for. There's a purpose to this beyond the campaign. And there is no charitable kind of interpretation for this. There's nothing else. They're normalizing moral corruption, and they're sending a message. Let me show you the message that they're sending. There was a picture in the article, in the campaign, and I was like, what is it? So people were pointing out this photo here. So the luxury brand, they deleted everything from Instagram, and the deletion comes after scrutiny. Now, in the photo, there was a piece of the photo that didn't have any children in it. It was just a purse by it. I think it's an Adidas purse. You see here, one of the brand's Adidas collaboration handbag. So I tweeted out, Adidas, do you have any comment? They dropped yay. There's a photo. So this is not subtle. So you think I'm looking at this too much and it's too crazy? In the group of pictures, there's a photo. I can confirm this. A photo of some papers. And if you're not looking at it, you just see a handbag and some papers with writing. But if you zoom in on it, it's from the 2008 Supreme Court case. I'm not making this up. United States versus Williams. The case involved a man named Michael Williams, who in April of 2004 used a public chat forum to post a message offering some bad things about children. Why was that court case picture included with this ad? They didn't come out and say, wait, it wasn't what you think it was. There was some employee that sabotaged it. I haven't heard anything like that. It looks like it was done on purpose to gaslight you and me. I mean, I'm not going to be gaslit by it. I'm going to point it out, though, for sure. Here's the paper. So this is the Adidas purse here. Kind of has a retro look to it with the Adidas stripes. I didn't know Adidas made purses, or I don't know anything about this. But you see the papers here in the picture, and people zoomed in on it, and they're like, whoa. It was a court case literally about bad stuff with children. In an ad that has children all throughout it. So that's what I have to say about that. We don't even know the extent to where this child stuff is going. If you look back at Alex J's old stuff, what does he dig into a lot? He dug into all that. So a lot of the bad stuff they were doing with children. And he's the one person that's not on there yet. Metalopoly says, I think Apple is going to try and do to Twitter what they did to Parler. I always want to say parlay because it's French. Parler. Yeah. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because Elon Musk is a person you don't really want to have problems with. He took over a government psyop with Twitter. I don't know how much influence the government still has on it, but he took it over. Talk about Shoeonhead here. Shoeonhead's great. Let's see what Metalopoly has to say. Shoeonhead has been walking a fine line lately. She's trying to be a progressive while having some conservative values. She's attacked by her own people constantly for being anti-pedo. Yep. And I give her a lot of credit for standing up for her beliefs. She was scheduled to be on with Timcast. I believe the story goes that she last second said, "No, I can't do it." because just going on with Tim Cash, she'll get more heat. She's more of a, I mean, I think you would call her a progressive populist left, but I think she's probably more of like a classic liberal, but whatever. I don't care. She's based in truth. She's not an enemy. Even though I always say I don't know. I forgot what beef we had. I didn't have a beef with her, but she blocked me on Twitter. I'm back. I'm gonna be out. I forgot what it was. I'll search it real quick and see if I could. I don't know why she blocked me on Twitter. It was definitely a disagreement, but I never. I mean, I don't feel like I was disrespectful. But yeah, that's all I had. Twitter's popping off right now, y'all. It really is. And I'm looking at right now a couple stories I'm looking at. The first story, I still didn't get to do anything on it. I should do like a TikTok or something. CBS came back to Twitter. I've already kind of talked about it, but didn't do a full segment on it. CBS finally is confirming that the Biden laptop is real. It's 20 months later. Thanks for coming around. What were you guys waiting for? CBS confirms Hunter Biden laptop is real. 769 days after Post broke the story. So you know that they know that there's going to be investigations. We all are going to know it's real. So you beat them to the story. Even though I think the New York Times, I believe I did a video, already acknowledged that. Oh, wow. Manhattan. I didn't see this. Manhattan prosecutors, again, consider a path towards charging Trump. Man, this is like kind of like the Coyote and the Roadrunner or something. They just keep trying to get Trump. I don't know if we've ever seen anything like that in our country before. A new lawsuit. They're fighting for probably the runoff or not the runoff. I like this one. I didn't read this article, but this headline says a poll reveals conservatives blame GOP McLeadership, not Donald Trump, for midterm disappointment. I like that term, McLeadership. I mean, it's a poll. Who knows? But that's good to hear. New Trump special prosecutor overturned by Supreme Court, tied to IRS scandal. I have not read this one, but was that a definitive ruling where they said that there's all kinds of conflicts of interest with the special prosecutor? The wife of the special, I think, what's his name? Jack Smith. His wife donated to Biden. So it's just, Jack Smith. So I'll have to read that story there, but there's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. I don't know how important that is, but thanks a lot for stopping by. I'm going to be out, and I'll have a new upload tomorrow at 9 a.m. Take care. Yeah, Anomaly did. We went back and forth a few times. He's great. I have no beef with Anomaly. I have no reason to beef. I mean, I'm not even at his level, so there's no reason to beef with him. But we had disagreement on Trump and the pandemic. That's why I remember why he blocked me. I don't remember what Schuin had. I'm actually kind of curious now. And the Kasparian blocked me. Recently, the Shannon Watt. So Hotep Jesus blocked me for some reason, real too. Uncle Hotep and I chat every once in a while, like just on Twitter, but he didn't block me. But I don't know why Hotep Jesus blocked me. I was probably talking about him too much, even in a positive manner, because I think very highly of him. What's Shoe and Head's handle? I think it's the shoe with the 0 in it. But yeah, with Anomaly, my take on Trump was he handled the pandemic poorly, but I said let's also treat him fairly. It was the weight of the whole world was against him. DeSantis did much better, no question, no problems. At that time, we weren't debating DeSantis for president. I was even probably with him to say like DeSantis would be a better candidate at that time, but he just didn't like I just kind of got tired of him saying Trump was bad at the pandemic. Trump was bad at the pandemic. I'm like, bro, that's no doubt he was, but I did a whole thing talking about the administrative state, and there's issues deeper than Trump. And he had one term, and the pandemic was used as a weapon to get him up out of there, just like Black Lives Matter. So let's be fair with him. Got breaking news from Elon before I go out. Elon says holding off relaunch, because I actually went in there because I wanted to get in there. I do have Twitter Blue already, but I can't get the badge because they had the problems. Holding off on relaunch of Blue Verified until there is high confidence of stopping impersonation. I like this. We'll probably use different color check for organizations than individuals. Because the problem that he's having is, like, for example, Daily Caller. They have a check, and then on top of that, it says official. I don't know. Smarter people will be able to solve that. I don't know what the answer is. The double verification is weird though. But so if you make a different check color for organizations, then it has to then how do you confirm that? It should be any organization. So if I have an LLC or whatever it is, then I should be able to apply for the different color check mark. We'll have to see how that works. Well, he is verifying ID in a way, because you need to put your money in there. You have to put your card in there to get, well, I don't know if it has to be your card or not, because I didn't get my check mark. So will the wait be beyond November 29th? I agree it's smart to wait until a high confidence. He has to. Not Jerome Powell got his check mark. So that was just breaking news right there. I'm off on a tangent now. I'm going to be out here in a second. I actually just wanted to, I don't remember what Shoenhead and I disagreed on. Because there's much more that we would agree on than we wouldn't. So it's just weird. And I don't blame people if you get a lot of, idiots in your mentions or whatever. Then you just want to block people. That's fine. Let me see if I can search on. Yeah, you might be surprised. Milk Toast Me, probably more Milk Toast than Tim Pool. Got blocked. Let's see here. Am I sharing this screen? Let's see. Oh, I'm not sharing the right screen. Let's see here. This is completely irrelevant. I probably would be normally doing this off camera, but just since I'm on, let me see. What happened here? So I had one interaction where I said it's okay to have a libertarian position on some things, conservative on others. These people need to break free. I don't know what that's about. On unliving fetuses, personally, I'm pro-life. Legislatively, I'm pro-choice because my personal views shouldn't be what determine law. Wow, that got 419 likes. What was that about? I don't get anything near that amount of likes on anything. That's weird. So I have to go in and see what that's even about. I don't even know what that tweet's about. This might be a waste of time, but there might be some value to see what topics different people react to or care about. So this is, okay, the 4-quadrant political compass test and its consequences have been a disaster for the American people. Somebody's blocked out. I'm shaking and crying right now trying to figure out Shu in the Head's ideology, because from what I understand, she wants to be a traditional wife who likes tariffs. What am I missing there? But also wants to limit immigration and close borders, but also is a liberal socialist. It's confusing. I don't even know what I'm replying to here. So I said it's okay to have a libertarian position on some things, conservative on others. Yeah. Yeah, that would say I'm supporting her on this one. These people need to break free. Yeah, that's not any beef, but I mean, it might have been taken the wrong way. What's going on here? I'm trying to figure out, was there anything else? What date was that from? Okay, December of last year. Yeah, we were just talking about the populist left. So it's probably some stupid stuff. I don't even remember what it was, so it's something stupid. Yeah, I think we're just talking about labels, which does nothing. Elizabeth Howard, thank you for stopping by, says, I hope you post this elsewhere. Good info, but looks like you're being throttled or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's bad marketing, to be honest, and I'm uploading too much so you don't get notifications. But right now I'm trying to still learn my way and find my way. I got to get better and just do stuff, so I'm not too worried about that. Thank you. You're doing God's work. Keep up the good fight. Nye Berrigan says, Spanish Catalan designer house that's made wedding dress for, it definitely doesn't look good. I don't know what that means. Well, thank you for the shout out, Metalopoly. Appreciate you. So I'm going to be out. That's all I basically had to cover. I'll be back with a new upload in the day. Let me make sure to get, before I go, there's always something, but I can't forget, one of the big things that you've got to work on, that's all social media is getting your grift game right. And Christmas is coming up. I know there's a lot of gift ideas floating around. Go ahead, visit middlemaga.com, go to the store, and you will be able to get something to end on a good note, to have yourself a Merry MAGA Christmas. How about that? We'll do some Christmas music after Thanksgiving. Hopefully everybody has a good Thanksgiving. I'll probably be doing some lives before Thanksgiving. But have a good Thanksgiving if I don't catch you before another live. It's a long t-shirt. Merry MAGA Christmas. That's the holiday spirit MAGA gear. And I really do I'm purposely going with the MAGA stuff, because you saw what happened in Colorado Springs, about an hour from where I am. And they're out here blaming MAGA for it. And I'm not gonna stand by and just let that happen. I'm gonna put my own branding on it. Oh, is Eric July live? Rippaverse is just getting started. I might have to jump onto that Eric July live. I haven't been in the Eric July live in a minute. But Candace Owens covered this. I was thinking about covering it too.
So I'm guessing you guys know this, but the way that geo-targeting works is that wherever you are targeted with news and information regarding your surroundings. So yes, I got on a plane and went to London with my husband just so we could enjoy ourselves for a couple of days. We haven't done that. Obviously, now we have 2 kids. It's been busy. And it was the most relaxing weekend ever. Honestly, just a perfect weekend. But of course, while I was in London, I was getting news pertaining to whatever goes on in the UK. Even when you open your Twitter account, it works according to their trends, nearby trends in the area. So I was completely ignorant of everything that happened in America for the last 4 days, and it was wonderful. It actually really allowed me to relax. So I get in the plane to come back. It's about a 9-hour flight from London to Nashville. I open my phone, I turn it on, and I go to Instagram, and I'm not even kidding. I see this graphic. And I am tagged in it from about 100 people have tagged me in this graphic. And it reads, "You have blood on your hands." And the graphic is a photo of me, Matt Walsh, he actually looks great, Ben Shapiro, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Laura Ingram, Lauren Boebert from Colorado, and Tucker Carlson. So the first thing I did was I laughed because I just thought,
it's not funny.
What did I do?
Yeah.
But these are my friends, I guess. So what could all of us have done together to put blood on our hand? It's also just funny because it's a ridiculous statement. You have blood on your hand. It's just like, I'm tired of people saying that. Give me something with a little more thought. You have blood on your hands. And also, it reminded me, and then I said to myself, I shouldn't laugh. It reminded me of that time where similarly, I happened to be in London and I got a message from somebody saying that you need to respond to this. And it was a trend that was happening with my name on Twitter, as it always is, saying that I had blood on my hands for, if you guys remember this, the Christchurch mosque shooting that took place in New Zealand. I remember waking up and seeing this message and just going, this is the most insane thing I've ever seen. I tweeted something like, LOL, what? And then the news cycle went crazy and it said, Candace Owens laughs at the Christchurch shooting. Of course, I wasn't laughing at the shooting. It's horrific, but it took place in New Zealand. It happened at a mosque. I live in America. I don't even talk about Muslims or mosques. It was just ridiculous that people were actually trying to attach me to this horrible tragedy all the way in New Zealand. And of course, their reasons for wanting to attach me to it was because there was allegedly a manifesto. And in this manifesto, this insane individual put my name. They also used Spyro the Dragon, which is a child's cartoon, Spyro the Dragon as a source of inspiration. And this psychopath also included Nelson Mandela as a source of inspiration. Why? Not because we inspired him, but because he's a psychopath. And of course, we should not be adding legitimacy to a psychopath's claims. That didn't stop the news people. Nope, that didn't stop the journalists who just hate Candace Owens and want her to go away and thought this was a way to do it. In fact,
I like that. You get to that level where you refer to yourself. Like they hate Osiris. That's what it's about. I don't want to get to that level. That's another level when it's like Trump and them. They're like, they hate Donald Trump. I'm like, aren't you Donald Trump? Like, aren't you Candace Owens?
It culminated into a moment months later when I was testifying on the Hill regarding the rise of white supremacy. And of course, the Democrats had called 3 white people to testify on the rise of white supremacy.
Yep,
Republicans had called me up, and
it was a classic. Go look that up. She owned it.
This woman, she of course had a PhD, because that's what happens. You go to school for a long time and then you can't think anymore. Actually used the Christchurch mass shooting and tried to insult me and say that I laughed at the massacre. You guys remember that? Her name was Dr. Kathy Ballou. And here's the moment.
I just have to say that I object strenuously to your use of the word hilarious. To me, this feels a lot like your reaction to being named in one of these manifestos. Now, you're of course not responsible for...
Look at Candace. I've seen this 100 times. Oh my goodness.
The words of somebody writing that document. But I do think that laughing at it is a real problem, because these are real families that are impacted by this violence. And I think our efforts towards talking about this have to start from a place.
I wonder what's going on in her head right now at this moment. She's amazing. She is really smart, very witty, very quick. She's unbelievable. She's really, really one of the smartest commentators out there.
Of mutual respect, which is what I've heard from this side of the
Her eyebrow went up. I'm looking only at Candace's expression here.
Table. Now, the reason we don't have those numbers, I want those numbers as much as you do, but to say the numbers don't show something is simply not supported by the data.
you know that white supremacy and white nationalism is ranks nowhere near the top of the issues that are facing Black America. And the reason that you are bringing them up in this room is because it is attempt to make the election all about race, as the Democrats
Not in
do.
my case, Ms.
Please
Owens.
don't
I'm
cut me
sorry.
off.
Please do not characterize my motive.
Mr. Chairman, it's my time.
Yeah,
it's my time.
You've got your time, Mr. Menez. I'll give you 3 more seconds.
Every 4 years, you bring up race, and you knew exactly what I meant when I said hilarious, and you just tried to do live what the media does all the time to Republicans, to our president, and to conservatives, which is you tried to manipulate what I said to fit your narrative, okay? I was not referring to the subject matter that is hilarious. I said it's hilarious that we are sitting in this room today, and I've got 2 doctors and a missus, and nobody can give us real numbers that we can respond to so we can assess how big of a threat this is. Because you know that it is not as big of a threat as you are trying to make it out to be, so that you can manipulate. And the audacity of you to bring up the Christ Church shooting manifesto and make it seem as if I laughed at people that were slaughtered.
I don't know who this woman is right here next to her, but she was like, that heat was, I don't want that heat. Look at this dude back here. He's like, you don't want that heat. Look at her right here. She's like, whoa, that's heat.
By a homicidal maniac is, in my opinion, absolutely despicable. And I think that we should be above that. To try to assign reality or any meaning to a homicidal maniac writing a manifesto, which, by the way, let the record show, also stated Spyro the Dragon, the child's cartoon, as a source of inspiration. He also cited Nelson Mandela as a source of information. I don't think that Nelson Mandela has inspired mosque shootings. You can correct me if you think I'm wrong. You would rather assign meaning to a
Look at, she got everybody's attention.
Homicidal maniac than to actually address the things that I said today that are actually harming Black America. Number 1, father absence. Number 2, the education system and the illiteracy rate. Illegal immigration ranks high, abortion ranks high, white supremacy and white nationalism, if I had to make a list again of 100 things, would not be on it. This hearing, in my opinion, is a farce, and it is ironic that you're sitting here and you're having 3 Caucasian people testify and tell you what their expertise are.
Then she started paying attention. She's like, whoa. And then you see everybody looking.
Do I know what my expertise are? Black in America. I've been Black in America my whole life, all 30 years. And I can tell you that you guys have done the exact same thing every 4 years ahead of an election cycle, and it needs to stop. So there you have it.
Yeah, she's going to be running. I didn't know how young she was, so she's much younger than I thought. I thought she would have been, I mean, I don't want to say that as a bad thing. I mean, it's great that she's young, that she will not be old enough to run in 2024, but I mean, that doesn't change to me. She's setting up to run in some future election, whether it's 2028 or whatever else.
Have it. Dr. Kathy Ballou effed around and found out very quickly. I had no time for that. No time for a woman who had no argument. She had no statistics on white supremacy. She just kept talking about how she felt because she's an expert on white supremacy. She went to school. She has a degree. She has a PhD. I'm a doctor on white supremacy, whatever that means, trying to sell to us that Black people are at risk. And she can't actually win on data and facts. So she turns around and goes back to this moment of a Christ Church shooting in New Zealand at a mosque, which I, of course, had nothing to do with, and tries to extract emotion that way. Oh, you laughed at this. No, I didn't. I didn't laugh at that. I laughed at the absurdity that this is what the left does when tragedy takes place. The absurdity of trying to connect a tragedy to the thoughts of conservatives, sometimes overseas. So, of course, I see this graphic right when I land, right, saying that I have blood on my hands. It reminds me of that situation. I'm thinking, what could I have possibly done while I was in London with my husband? What did I do with Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson? And I actually had to search for it because I said, where is this even coming from? What they were talking about, of course, was that recently, you guys are probably following the story, a gunman, 22-year-old gunman, killed 5 people and injured 25 others at an LGBTQ nightclub. The club is called Club Q in Colorado Springs, just before midnight on Saturday. Again, I had missed that. And so the left saw this and decided that the proper way to respond to it was to say that conservatives who have not supported the transgendered movement, because we shouldn't, right? Because we absolutely should not support giving puberty blockers to children, because we're moral, because we understand that ruining a child's body is satanic, right? But it's our...
See, the problem is separating this movement from the people. And I fully do not support I don't support the Black identity. So why the hell would I support the LGBTQ identity? I don't even support the black-white identities, much less trans or whatever movement. The people have got nothing but love for you. Have no reason to not to hate you. The movement is how you weaponize the people against your. The movement is how they do this stuff to weaponize against people like Candace Owens.
Fault that this tragedy happened, because if only we had gotten on board with parents encouraging children to remove their genital parts. If only we had.
You have to. They're forcing speech. You have to agree with them, or you could get sued if something bad happens.
Gotten on board with gender mutilation. If only we had gotten on board with the side effects of drugs like Lupron that are being used to suppress puberty.
And just to reiterate, just to be clear, I should have that as a drop from Kamala. If somebody wants to take their kid to a doctor and get that done, it has nothing to do with me. So I don't agree with Candace Owens here. But what I do agree with is that she should be able to speak her mind.
Side effects that give young boys micro penises when they get older, right? That render these children sexually dysfunctional for the rest of their lives. Decisions that are being made by their parents, not the children, right? Ideas that are being seen.
The parents are the guardians, though. You'll see conservatives argue that all the way. Parental rights, parents are the guardians. So if the parents take the child to a doctor and the doctor agrees, then if that surgery doesn't work out, then you can always sue.
Seated in the classroom by teachers who are going along with this dangerous ideology. If only we had gotten on board with that, then a homicidal maniac would not have walked into Club Q in Colorado Springs to shot a bunch of people. That's actually what they were trying to sell to us.
Well, is that really the take? I don't think that's literally the take. I think the people on the left are saying, if you were to side with us, then we wouldn't need to blame you. I think that's the take. They're not trying to say that if Candace Owens, Matt Walsh, and all of them agreed that this wouldn't happen. They're saying that if they agreed, then they wouldn't get blamed. It's straight up a power move.
So sick and so twisted. You almost can't even respond to it. It's so insane. Basically, the argument that they're making is, if only you guys would allow mental illness to prevail, then mental illness wouldn't happen. Because obviously this individual who shot up this club is a mentally ill individual. And by the way, I
don't know if we know that yet, or maybe there's more stuff came out. I have not read anything about it today.
There's no signs. As of today and right now, there are no signs that this was motivated by his hatred of LGBTQ people. In fact, more signs point to the fact that he is just a crazy person. For example, he was recently arrested in June of 2021 after a woman reported that her son had threatened her with a homemade bomb, multiple weapons, and ammunition, according to the press release from El Paso County Sheriff's Office. So that individual who eventually shot up a club was already arrested because he had threatened his mother with a homemade bomb and multiple weapons and ammunition in 2021, okay? But that's not relevant. Of course, I'm assuming that he didn't do this because his mother was lesbian or trans or gay, probably because he's insane, because he's a maniac. And he should have, of course, been monitored because it takes an insane individual to threaten to blow up their own mom. But no, the left never misses an opportunity to score some points against the right, even if those points are not being scored, because we stand by our assessment that we need to protect children, and what's happening to them in terms of the spread of the transgender agenda is wrong. And of course, Nancy Pelosi never misses an opportunity to try to dunk on conservatives and miss. And she released a statement.
Let me stop.
Yesterday in honor of Transgendered Day of Remembrance. I'm just going to read you some parts of her statement. She said, as our nation marks Transgender Day of Remembrance, the House Democratic Caucus mourns the countless Americans stolen away by a scourge of transphobic violence, a crisis that continues to disproportionately harm trans people.
I'm sorry. And I want to make sure I'm clear at what I'm laughing at. I'm laughing at Nancy P. The thought that you might think Nancy P. cares about trans people of color. Do you really believe that?
Of color. That seems completely fictitious. She went on and said that fight remains more urgent than ever as right-wing extremists target transgender Americans' most fundamental rights and freedoms. whether spouting dangerous rhetoric from cable news desks or openly bullying.
I do agree that people on the right are attacking their rights and freedoms. That is accurate, but to tie it into this heinous act is really, it's really evil that it's hard to describe. She even said MAGA Republicans. That's why I have the MAGA, Merry MAGA Christmas. I'm not wearing. Well, actually, I do have MAGA. I'm like I wasn't wearing MAGA today. Yeah, I am wearing MAGA. MAGA right here. I can't zoom in. It says MAGA. I'm in the libertarian wing of the MAGA party. So I want to humanize that and make that, if I can, more palatable. So these people can't smear it like she's doing.
School children from the halls of power. MAGA Republicans are cruelly undermining the safety and well-being of our.
That's not true. I do agree that some people are going after the rights of whatever you want to call this identity. I think it's everyone's rights. If Candace Owens doesn't believe Matt Walsh and them, if they don't believe a parent can go to a doctor and agree on these treatments, then they also agree that a parent shouldn't be able to stop the what we call the vaccine. So it's the same argument. Do I have right to do this with my doctor or not? Do I have the right to say yes or no with my doctor or not? So there's truth there, but to tie it into this is really horrifying.
Transgender community, horrified by such shameless bigotry, House Democrats are proud to march alongside our trans friends, neighbors, and siblings as we work to uphold justice and dignity for all.
It's really smart when you think about it, because she's done such, morally corrupt things, legal, not illegal. She's done legal corrupt things, like her and her husband flipping stocks and stock options. And all she has to do is say, I stand with the trans community, and no one questions her. It looks like the cover is working.
She went on to say, heartbroken for so many beautiful souls murdered by hate and guided by relentless activities across the country. Let us renew our resolve to build a future that our children deserve. I don't have the words to describe how positively twisted and maniacal that statement.
Third most powerful, second in line to president saying that. And Biden would agree, so you could just go to the head honcho.
Is. I don't have the words to describe it. The idea that you are trying to sell to people that if only we had harmed more children, right? If only the MAGA Republicans could just get over this need to protect children's innocence. If only you would allow us perverted and sick individuals to teach children that they can rinse themselves of their.
Yeah, even though I disagree with Candace and Matt Walsh on this, I don't view their position as evil. I completely understand where they're coming from. That's why I said let's compromise 18 and older.
Gender, that they can just become somebody else. If they agree to have a bunch of cosmetic procedures, right? If they agree to mutilate their own body, if only MAGA Republicans would allow this shooting wouldn't have happened. Transgender people would be safer, she says, safer. We know that's factually incorrect, because we know that the suicide rates of transgender individuals go up after they transition, not before.
Well, I haven't looked at those stats, and I don't want to get into that. So I just got off on a sidetrack. I'm out for real this time. Thanks a lot. Take care.